Hey scholars, so this week we've been talking about time. So far we've been telling time on something called an analog clock, which is this way right here. Today we're going to talk about how we tell time on a digital clock, which is this way, which is how we normally write our answer, our time for an analog clock. Now a digital clock is something we see more often than the analog clock. We see a digital clock on the microwave, on your phone. It's everywhere. So we're going to look at how we tell time on a digital clock. So when we have a digital clock, the first number tells our hour. So when we had our analog clock, we had an hour and minute hand. The hour hand was the short hand, the minute hand was the long hand. Same with the digital clock, you have a place for your hour and a place for your minutes. So the first number tells you what hour it is, so it's 2, and then over here's our minutes, it says 00. But for this time, we don't say it's 200. What do we say for the 00? Who remembers? Right, it's right here. We say 2 o'clock. When you have the 00, we say o'clock. So we're going to practice telling time on 3 digital clocks. And then you'll have time to practice. So our question is, what time is it? So here again, we have our hour and our minute. So our hour says what? Right, it's 12. Now for the rest of it, we don't say it's 12:00, we say it's 12. Right, o'clock. 12 o'clock. And then we have our next digital clock. So our hour, we read our hour first, which says the number 10. And again, for our minutes, we have 00, but we don't say it's 10:00. You say it's 10, right, o'clock. And then for our last time, we have in our hour, we have what number? Right, we have the 8, and then over here for our minutes, we have 00, but again, we don't say it's 8:00, we say the time is, it is 8, right, o'clock. So whenever we have 00 for our minutes, that's when we say o'clock. So here we had 12 o'clock. Then on this digital clock, we had 10 o'clock. Then on this digital clock, we have 8 o'clock. And then we have o'clock because they all had the 00 for the minutes. And then today, you're going to practice on selecting the digital clock that matches the analog clock. So we have 12 o'clock. So to show that on an analog clock, remember the o'clock, our minute hand always goes to the 12, and my hour is 12, so my hour hand goes to 12 as well. So when both of my hands are at 12, it's 12 o'clock. Then for 10 o'clock, my hour is 10, so my hour hand points to the 10, and then for my minutes, the 00 or the o'clock, my minute hand goes to the 12. So in the analog clock, this is how we would show 10 o'clock. So this analog clock matches this digital clock. And our last digital clock, we said it was 8 o'clock. So when we have the analog clock, my hour was 8, so my hour hand's at the 8. And then for the minutes, the 00 or the o'clock, my minute hand goes to the 12. So again, when you're reading a digital clock, the first number tells you what the hour is. The second part tells you the minutes, and the hour and minutes are separated by our colon, the 2 dots. So we know that the hour goes on the left side, the minute goes on the right side of the 2 dots. So today you're going to practice showing which analog clock tells you the same time as the digital clock. Can't wait to see your work.